Hey everyone, welcome to the Return of the Logos podcast, where we're attempting to return logic to a chaotic world by shining a light on the shadows. We're back. Thanks again, everyone, for downloading, subscribing, listening to the Return of the Logos podcast. Everywhere that you're following us, we really appreciate it. To add on to that, good news for anyone who likes to get their content on Rumble or YouTube. You can find us now on Rumble or YouTube at Return of the Logos. When we start doing video podcasts, we will have videos there. But for now, you can listen to the audio-only episodes on YouTube and Rumble at Return of the Logos. You can also follow us on Truth Social at Return of the Logos. And you can follow us on X at Returning Logos.
Prestige worldwide.
Prestige worldwide. Prestige worldwide.
Things are happening, everyone.
Things are happening. I'm on a boat.
That's
and
right.
by the way, we're huge over in the United Arab Emirates. 6 downloads.
6 downloads.
They love us over there. They say we're the best.
I don't mean to brag.
I don't mean to brag, but, they say we're the best. I think we're the best. But I also am concerned that we get consistent downloads in Virginia, which is where Langley is. So just keep an eye on that.
Yeah. They think they're just tracking us.
Yeah. So we are going to talk grievances and the reckoning. Everything that's happening now is a result of everything that has happened over the last 8 years. So anyone that sees what's happening right now and is freaking out, oh my God, Elon Musk is stealing our social security numbers.
It's a constitutional crisis.
It's a constitutional
It's a total constitutional crisis. It's the end of democracy forever.
Anyone who's freaking out, just calm down.
Yeah. We're going to line all this up
We're going to line this up for you. And we're going to show you some of the grievances. We're going to talk about the grievances over the last 8 years and what has caused what's happening now, and explain to you why what's happening now is not, in fact, a constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Elon Musk is not going to steal your social security number and take out a credit card in your name. Okay? Donald Trump is not handing over control of the military to someone else. Have you heard this one?
There's so many I can't even keep up.
So I want to give everyone a warning. If you're listening with the kids in the car or anything like that, this episode's going to get a little spicy. So if you do have the kids with you, you may want to put this on pause and listen to it later. So just a fair warning. Andy gets a little hot on this one.
Yeah, well, in honor of Mr. Bongino, cutesy time's over, kids.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Cutesy time's over.
Yep.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election. And they're working right now, as I speak, in state after state, to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. It's within our power, it's in our hands, yours and mine, to stop the assault on American democracy. I believe America is at an inflection point.
Yeah, it is.
One of those moments that determine the shape of everything that's to come after. And now, America must choose to move forward or to move backwards.
Thank God
To
we're
build a
moving
future or
forward.
obsess about the past. To be a nation of hope and unity and optimism, or a nation of fear, division, and of darkness. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies.
He's sharp as a tack, by the way.
This is a nation that honors our Constitution. We do not reject it. This is a nation that believes in the rule of law. We do not repudiate it. This is a nation that respects free and fair elections. We honor the will of the people. We do not deny it. And this is a nation that rejects violence as a political tool. We do not encourage violence. We are still an America that believes in honesty and decency.
I have so many notes right now.
Respect for others. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power.
Okay.
Go.
He's talking about me.
And me,
He's talking about anybody that you know
who voted for Trump.
who voted for Trump in this last election. He's not talking about some fringe group. He's talking about us. He's talking about the majority of America. And so divisive. And then for him to, out of the other side of his mouth, put out the Barack Obama, there is no red America, there is no blue America, there is the United States of America. And why is everybody so divided? And, you know, the Republicans are the party of division and anger and hate and all this stuff. No. Fuck no. This is you. You're doing this. To anybody out there that knows me, if you're one of my liberal friends, understand he was talking about me. You know me. You know that's not me. So.
Yeah, and saying that MAGA supporters are the ones stoking hatred. When was the last time you tuned into a news show or a podcast and heard any conservative calling people racists, calling people homophobes, calling people Islamophobes, xenophobes,
Sexists,
authoritarian dictators? When was the last time you heard any conservative or any Republican calling anyone else that? Never. The only people you hear using that rhetoric are Democrats. The only people.
Damn straight. This is condensed down to 3 minutes of a 45-minute speech. And out of everything that he said about MAGA, extremist, super extreme, mega MAGAs.
Mega MAGAs.
Yeah. The only thing that was not some sort of platitude talking about fear and darkness and lies, hate and dungeons and
Dungeons and Dragons.
and whatever the fuck he's talking about. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's not me.
Yeah.
Democracy, as if he cares about democracy and honesty. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's gonna lecture me. He closed that out with saying that they're doing it for power and personal gain.
Yeah, one of the most corrupt presidents we've ever had.
This is the guy that for $30 million, like we're talking about billions of dollars going through USAID. 30 million. That's all he got. 30 million. He sold out our country.
Yeah.
Don't fucking talk to me. Are you kidding me? The only thing he said in that was right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So Republicans don't want you to kill babies. Anti-birth control or something, which I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah.
Oh, and then gay.
Yeah.
They don't want you to kill babies, and they don't want you to be gay.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that he actually said, and he talked for 45 minutes. The rest was all bullshit. Sorry.
It's like they say, whatever they're accusing you of doing is what they're doing themselves, right? I mean, he's talking about that they are the party that don't encourage violence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about the George Floyd riots in the Summer of Love back in 2020? Cities burned down while the rest of the country was in lockdown for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And you had these pundits coming on TV saying everyone should stay in their house because COVID is super dangerous. You don't want to be a super spreader. But it was okay for the rioters and the protesters to be out. And I shit you not, this is what they said, because racism is a bigger threat than COVID. Are you serious?
Well, I don't think COVID was that big of a threat then.
Well,
maybe they knew something that they weren't telling us.
Yeah. But the other thing, too, is that Kamala Harris was giving money to bail out people who got arrested in the riots.
They were absolutely fanning the flames of violence.
Yes.
The liberal news media was talking about mostly peaceful protests.
Fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Literally with police stations on fire in the background as they're saying it's been mostly peaceful today.
Yeah.
They're literally like standing in like what looks like a war zone.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I see buildings on fire, I'm not going to describe it as mostly peaceful.
Yeah, like you're not very good at gaslighting.
No.
There's a building on fire directly behind you while you're talking about mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah. And
who said that protesters had to be polite?
Where in the Constitution does it say that protests are supposed to be peaceful?
All of that, and they were raising funds
to bail out
to bail people out, and which that makes sense because they were raising the funds to bust those people in the first place because those were not grassroots all people that lived in those areas. They were busing people around the country to start riots and protests.
And a lot of this money comes from NGOs, just so you know.
And Soros.
Yeah. Well, Soros funnels it through NGOs.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works.
Meanwhile, every Super Bowl, I have to listen to the Black National Anthem. I have no fucking idea what that is. It's not a real thing. I used to love watching the Pacers play. And every NBA court is Black Lives Matter, and you're a fucking racist, basically.
Yeah. I'm a racist, but I support a league that pays black millionaires.
Give me a break. Give me a break. I grew up in the 90s. Our hero was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And nobody said, oh, yeah, that black basketball player.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, I want to be like Mike.
Yeah, that was the slogan. I want to be like Mike.
Period.
Yeah.
End of story. Number 23. Nobody cares about any of that stuff.
No.
Nobody cares. It's them that care.
They're the ones that care because I was thinking of this the other day. And you know the saying, the Republicans and the Democrats, they just want to keep everyone else fighting so no one pays attention to what they're actually doing. And there's credence to that.
Yes.
It's true. But what has happened is that now there's an outside force outside of the uniparty that's saying, hold up, we are paying attention to what you're doing. So now the remaining uniparty, the machine, the blob, whatever you want to call it, they can't play that same game anymore. They have to blame everything on this group of people that's actually paying attention.
Because there's a new player in the game.
There's a new player in the game. And do I even have to talk about how he talked about that MAGA is the party of election deniers? Every Republican win, presidentially speaking, over the last 20 years, every single one, there have been Congress people that have stood up and objected, saying that it's an illegitimate.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just search for Democrats denying electoral votes, this is just a talking point. And they're trying to talk to people who are low information. They're trying to talk to people who don't follow this stuff, who aren't going to see what they're doing. And we finally said, no, we've had enough. We're paying attention.
Yep. So before you move on to your next point, because I know I know you're chock full of notes on that Dark Brandon, Philadelphia. Oh, that was his speech in Philadelphia, by the way, if I didn't say that.
It's known as the Dark Brandon speech.
Yeah, he was flanked by 2 military officers. Red blood background. It literally looked like the Emperor from Star Wars.
Yeah. It was like Palpatine.
Yeah, it was total Palpatine.
He even kind of looks like Palpatine.
When I saw it, I was just like, are they serious with this? Like, he's talking about how dark and evil they have left me scarred. Okay.
I'm just thinking of the image of Palpatine in my head and Joe Biden, and it's like they kind of look the same.
The Jedis have left me scarred.
We have no choice.
Yeah, you have no choice but to give me the emergency powers is what that's what he should have said.
I hereby dissolve the Senate.
Yeah. Here's what I was going to say. I reject the phrase election denier. I don't deny that there was an election. So what the fuck are you talking about?
I agree.
I don't deny an election.
We're not denying an election.
I'm not denying that there's a climate out there either.
Right.
So all of that is wordplay, and it's meant to invoke Holocaust denier.
Yes.
Okay? So you can go fuck yourself with that. I'm not an election denier. I'm not a climate denier. I'm fully aware we have a climate, and I'm fully aware that we had an election. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. These black and white bullshit phrases that they put out, threat to democracy.
Whose democracy? Threat to democracy has now changed to a constitutional crisis because they realized, oh shit, he also won the popular vote. So we can't say a threat to democracy. Because when they're saying that, what they're saying is they're a threat to our democracy, meaning the Democrats' democracy.
Yeah, it's a threat to the bureaucracy is what it should be.
Yeah.
That's what they should have been saying if they were being honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just can't do this to people for 8 years and expect that there's going to be no pushback. I mean, listening to this guy talk and spew this hatred towards me. Mm-hmm. This is pointed at me. So I take this personally. This is the same person that labeled parents at school board meetings as domestic terrorists. They labeled church members extremists. They activated intel agencies to spy on Catholic churches. They wrote laws to arrest and imprison peaceful protesters outside of abortion clinics. They hired 80,000 new IRS agents. They stockpiled an arsenal of ammunition and weapons, and then they trained them to use it. And I don't know if you ever saw that IRS training video, but it was one of the funniest.
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, I got to show you that. They had like plastic guns, and they were like pretending to be cops.
Pew, 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 pew.
They were like pretending, they were practicing a breach is what
doing
they were practicing.
rolls and stuff.
It was so stupid. Yeah, the White House and government agencies were weaponized to strong-arm social media companies to silence their opposition. Okay?
Fact.
That's Banana Republic shit. They weaponized the DOJ in an attempt to imprison their political opponents.
Fact.
That is not democracy. By the way, we are a republic.
Yes. We are a representative democracy. People need to understand the difference between a democracy and what we have. Because we don't vote on every single issue. It's not sustainable,
it's not
and it turns into mob rule.
Yeah.
We are a representative democracy. We vote for a person who we feel best represents our beliefs and convictions. And then we trust that person to go to Washington, D.C. to vote on our behalf. This is not mob rule.
That's right. That's right. All that talk all the time, I think there are people out there that don't even realize that. That is not our form of government.
Correct.
You fucking morons. The FBI raiding a political opponent. Mar-a-Lago. Fact. They were diverting U.S. air marshals from their jobs to follow and spy on miscellaneous people that were just in the DC area around the date of January 6th. Fact, they were doing this for years. Multiple years they were doing this. They diverted tons of resources from different agencies to follow these people around and spy on them. Show me the person and I'll show you the crime. Closing schools, churches, businesses, subverting election law in the name of COVID. Fuck you. Fuck you. You don't get to change the election laws or disregard the election laws because of your perceived crisis, the plandemic, okay? And lying to people about masks and vaccines while simultaneously firing people for not taking the jab. I mean, I can go on and on. Let me back off and give you a chance. These are just a handful of grievances. Not to mention, this kind of talk turns people against you in your personal life.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
That and the influence of social media and the silencing of any dissenting voices. Don't give me this, why are we so divided? I'll tell you why we're so divided. It's because of fucking Dark Brandon in Philadelphia. It's because of all the shit that they've been doing for 8 years now. And Obama started it all. It's all Chicago-style politics.
Which is mob politics, by the way.
On steroids in Washington, D.C. And that's why we're cleaning out the bureaucracy right now. There's a government inside the government.
So everything that we have just mentioned, if you don't trust us by now, if you don't believe us by now, I hope you do, because we're trying to be honest brokers. Yes, we do have a bias, sure, but that doesn't mean that what we're saying is not true. If you still doubt us, after everything that we've done in the previous episodes, please, I encourage you to look this stuff up. It's not hard to find. You just have to look past the headline and read through the entire story. Because something as simple as, oh, well, they added 80,000 IRS agents. It sounds like not a big deal, right? IRS agents, they just collect taxes. I want you to think about this. Everyone complains that all these millionaires and billionaires get through all these loopholes in the tax code. Well, first of all, it's not a loophole because it's a law. It's de facto not a loophole. They're just obeying law. But my greater point here, these people who have this much money have lawyers and accountants on staff. If the IRS is going to go after somebody, who do you think they're going to go after? Do you think they're going to go after a billionaire who's got a team of lawyers and a team of accountants? If the IRS tells them, hey, you owe us $5 million, do you think that billionaire is going to say, you know what, I'm going to spend $2 million just to say, fuck you, no, I don't? Yeah, he's going to. So they're not going to go after the millionaires and billionaires like all of these fucksticks try to say. Oh no, we're just going after the billionaires because they're not paying their fair share.
Fair share.
First, I don't even know what the fuck fair share means, okay? I don't know what that means.
When you have 10% of the population paying 90% of the taxes, I'm not sure what's fair.
Yeah. But to my point, they're not going to go after these people. You know who they're going to go after? They're going to go after regular, hardworking Americans who make $50, $60, $100, $150,000 a year. And what they're going to do, they're going to go to millions of these people and say, oh, hey, you owe us $1,200. Because those people don't have the means and don't have the time to rebut their claims.
Half of those people are doing easy 1040s and TurboTax.
Yeah, but that's not the point.
They got no resources. That's what my point is that they don't have resources.
Yeah, but it's also that it's like it's not even financially feasible for them to challenge the IRS for $1,200 because they're going to spend more money in the litigation process and lose more time in the litigation process. It's just easier to say, well, shit, okay, here, cut them a check for $1,200.
Yeah, I get your point. So all of those 80,000, those aren't just for the millionaires and billionaires.
Exactly.
Those are for middle class, upper middle class, and even lower middle class.
Yeah, they're not.
And the rest of the country doesn't even pay taxes anyway.
Right. It doesn't take 80,000 IRS agents to go after a handful of billionaires and millionaires, right? They're not doing that. Just think about how it's implemented, what they're actually doing with it. Because they're coming after you. They're coming after you. They don't give a shit about the billionaires and millionaires like they say they do. Those are the people who give them all of their money.
Yep. And we're also learning about what they do with that money after they take it from you.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that are running scared. And you know what? You should be scared.
You should be scared. Retribution is coming in the form of Elon Musk and Doge.
Yeah. I'm glad you're scared. If you're scared, if you're out there and you're like, this makes me scared, good.
Essentially, all that Elon Musk and Doge are external auditors. That's it. That's essentially all they're doing. Why are you scared of an external audit? Why? There's no reason to be scared of an external audit if you're doing everything to the T.
Yeah.
Why are they complaining about it? Why do Democrats not want the government to run efficiently? Why don't Democrats want your tax dollars to be spent wisely? Because it's their gravy train.
It's because they're the reason it's not spent wisely.
Yes.
It's intentional.
And I'm sorry, but going through and cutting the bureaucracy and finding the waste is the only way
that we can even move the needle.
That we can move the needle at all.
Yeah.
You have to, once the bureaucracy grows to this unwieldy thing, like it has become, you have to cut it out. It turns into a cancer. Because once you have a bureaucracy that big, it's not a democracy anymore. It's not your democracy anymore.
It's a constitutional crisis.
The constitutional crisis.
That was a good rant. So let's talk about some of the people that have been hired. This is not vengeance.
It's not vengeance. It's retribution. It's justice.
It's a reckoning. Just like Doc Holliday said.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
We've got some new appointees. One of my personal favorite podcasters, Dan Bongino.
One of my favorites too. Most outlets, their headlines are absolute bullshit. They refer to him solely as a right-wing podcaster.
That's right.
And so people who don't follow politics or people who don't know who Dan Bongino is, they just see, oh my God, Trump's hiring a podcaster to be the deputy director of the FBI. Okay, this guy was a Secret Service agent for over a decade.
Yep.
He was an NYPD officer.
Yep. He's ran for office, 3 times?
3 times he's ran for office. He happens now to have a company where he is a political commentator. Okay? So do not fall for the headlines. They are lying to you. This guy knows how this shit works. I mean, we even have a nice spicy little clip just to show you that he understands how these systems work.
Let me walk you through it. I'll give you an example, maybe to make sense.
Please
Again,
do.
I want to make up a story that Guy robbed a bank. He didn't rob a bank. I know that for a fact. So I hire Glenn Simpson and Fusion GPS. They do research. They do investigations. Private company, just like a PI, private investigator. I hire them to constantly poke and prod people around Guy. But the people I send to Fusion GPS to interview already know that they're going to tell Fusion GPS that Guy robbed the bank, even though he didn't. Joe, are you following me? I send people to them.
You're good.
Hey,
You're good.
if Fusion GPS, interview this guy. He's got something.
Yeah.
And then the CIA and intelligence agencies are listening in and reading the traffic of Fusion GPS as they're talking about information about Guy robbing the bank they got from people that I hired. It's just being bullshit information being flushed down 10 different toilets to wind up in the FBI sewage pond. My source said to me, Dan, the end of all this was designed to be the FBI, so they would spy on Donald Trump so that the media could write reports about the FBI suspecting Donald Trump of collusion. He said, you have to think of the FBI in this case like a mushroom farm. I said, what does that mean? He said, keep them in the dark and feed them shit. Folks, for as destructive as the FBI was in this case, and believe me, they hated Donald Trump, Jim Comey, I'm telling you, 100%, got played by Brennan. Comey is a vicious, awful, anti-Trump lunatic. But Comey to this day has never told you the true story about the mushroom farm. He is bitter to this day that they got fed a bunch of bullshit and hung out to dry. Oh, believe me, they wanted Trump out. And they were going to do anything to open a case. Even a modicum of ethics would have stopped the FBI early on, and they had none.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, he did investigations for the first part of his Secret Service career.
That's right.
As well as when he was an NYPD officer. He did investigations. He understands how the systems work. He may not know the day-to-day of the FBI, but who gives a shit? You can learn the day-to-day stuff. You need somebody who can understand the ins and outs. And
the ins and outs of corruption.
And the ins and outs of corruption.
Because that's what we're fighting against.
Yeah. You know that this guy is privy to a lot of conversations. You got to ask yourself, how would he not know how some of this shit works?
This is not a mistake, people.
This is not a mistake.
That he's going to be number 2 under Kash Patel in the FBI. And if he seems a little pissed off to you, it's probably because he is.
This is the entire DC problem. The next time you were at a town hall with one of these idiots and they say, I'm up there to solve problems, everyone in unison, no, you're not, loser. You're too stupid to solve problems. You're up there to get the government out of my life and stop effing my life up. Do you understand? Do you understand your job? Look at me, fuck sticks. You're up there to get the government out of our lives. That's it. You're too stupid to solve problems. Do you understand? You are too stupid to solve my problems. You don't know me. You're probably dumber than me. Nobody likes you. We don't like you. You don't like us. Shut the fuck up. Get out of my life. Stop taking my shit, my money, putting stupid red tape on my businesses, telling my kids my girls they're boys. Stop bankrupting my grandmother. She's already dead. Stop. Just shut up.
I love it. I love this pick.
I mean, you don't want somebody like that in charge of the day-to-day at the FBI? I would love someone like that in charge of the day-to-day at the FBI.
Unless you're on the receiving end.
Yes.
Welcome to the reckoning, you fucking assholes.
Do not listen to these people. I mean that seriously. Whenever the left panics and wants you to talk about something or wants you to stop talking about something, you should know what's true or not. I told you this about the birth certificate thing with Obama 1,000 times. When they encourage stuff, it means they're setting you up. When they don't want you to talk about something, rigged elections, that means they rigged it. Do not listen to these people. It is a straight up intimidation tactic. Give them the triple barrel middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Let's hear a little bit more from number 2.
This is just so dumb that how many times are these people going to fall willingly for the same bullshit stories? Here's Cassidy Hutchinson, who I told you was full of crap.
Okay, so we actually talked about this last episode, didn't we?
I don't know if it was the last. In one of the episodes we did.
Yeah.
Just a real quick recap. This is at the January 6th show trial. Cassidy Hutchinson heard from someone else that after Trump's speech at January 6th, he wanted to go to the Capitol. The Secret Service driving the limo said, no, sir, we're not. And apparently Donald Trump lunged at the driver. That's the essence of her testimony.
Dan Bongino, former Secret Service agent.
Who still knows Secret Service agents.
Yeah.
Because I may know some people in this space. Here's Cassidy Hutchinson, who claims to be some like big Trump insider. I have no doubt she worked in there, but I'm not sure she's the person she's saying she is, okay? Here's Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony about a ridiculous story we discredited. Dan, why even waste time? The story was so dumb. Because, folks, the only way to thoroughly eviscerate the anti-Trump agenda is to expose it for what it is consistently and over. And that is fake. Every single one of these scandals has been fake. Trump stole an election with Putin. Fake. The Nikki Haley Drape story. Fake. The Mike Flynn Russian ambassador story. Fake. The Trump quid pro quo impeachment phone call. Fake. They're all fake. I told you the Bongino rule. That whenever you hear a ridiculous anti-Trump story that Donald Trump lunged at a Secret Service agent, when I told you that's not even how the cars are set up, to grab the steering wheel, I said, this is the dumbest effing story I've ever heard in my life. You have to be a moron to believe this. Yet the stupid ass left. Sorry, Tony, can you just go out of order? Can you put the montage up for a second? I'm sorry. Poor guy.
I remember you said that. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Big point, dude. Yeah, I remember you pounded it
Here's
home.
the montage. Thank you, Tony. Look at all these dumb mother who believe this shit. NPR, CNBC, The Hill. Trump lunged at security detail. Folks, it's not even physically possible. NBC, CNN. Holy shit. You know how much time people wasted on this stupid freaking story?
That's one of the reasons I love him, is just like he just cuts through the bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is bullshit. This is where we're going. Ignore all the bullshit.
Well, and he used to be a little bit more child friendly.
Yeah.
His show used to be a little bit more clean.
He's gotten angry.
As he's gotten more and more angry, cutesy time's over.
Yep.
I got no problem with it.
I have
You know what? I'm pissed off too. They did all this shit against me, taking taxpayer dollars and funneling it to organizations that hate me and hate everything that I stand for, taking my money and doing that. To me, that's no different than taking a Christian's money and using it to provide a free abortion for someone. It's not right. It's not right.
I want to show you this meme because I don't think you've probably seen it.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of in charge of our X account, and I posted this on our X account.
Okay, cool.
Because you love movies just like me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let you take a look at it.
Okay.
It's a picture from the scene in Pulp Fiction where John Travolta and Sam Jackson go into the room with the guys that
stole the drugs from Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah.
English, do you speak it?
English, do you speak it, motherfucker? What? Say what again, motherfucker? One more time, I dare you, I double dare you. And they're pointing guns at him. Well, this is Dan Bongino and Kash Patel's face photoshopped on those two. And the quote is, say Russia collusion again, motherfucker. I dare you. It's so good. So,
Yeah.
guys, you got to check out our X account. I've got some pretty good memes up there. I put some real stuff on there too, but I've got some good memes on there.
That was basically Elon Musk's email that he sent to everybody.
Yeah.
What would you say you do here?
Yeah. And everybody's it's another meme that I posted. But yeah, to your point, that's basically what Elon Musk was doing with these emails, and everybody's freaking out. Mm-hmm. And he sent an email that just said, please give me 5 bullet points of what you did last week. If you're doing stuff, you should be able to rattle that off within 3 minutes.
Can you imagine not being able to provide your boss with 5 things that you did last week?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine not being able to name 5 things that I did.
Exactly. And
that would be so easy. I'd be like, I don't know which ones to pick,
Right. And so everybody's freaking out that, I have to respond to justify my job. Yeah, kind of you do.
Yeah,
welcome to the real world where you actually have to do shit. Right? There are so many videos online of federal workers like freaking out about this. And it's like, have you never worked in the real world? where you actually have to do something.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's insane. Let's see what Musk says about it.
If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that is responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you looked at the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative.
And I don't understand what's so controversial about this. I just don't.
The people that are in that have risen to the top. They're all installed. And it's all Democrats. It's all liberals and leftists. That's why I said Barack Obama started this with the Chicago-style politics, the corruption.
I'm just waiting to hear a valid argument from any regular person.
Oh, yeah.
There's no valid argument.
No.
There's no valid argument. Oh my God, Elon Musk can see our social security numbers. So what? So could every other employee that worked in that department. They can see your social security number too. They're way more likely to take your social security number and do some shit with it than he is.
Why are they freaking out? Let's see if Dan has any insight on that.
They realize Biden's done and that he is going to lose. Everyone is freaking out because they know Trump is going to get back into office and declassify, finally, all of this shit, fire bureaucrats who get in the way because he doesn't have to worry about re-election or anything else. And they are freaking out. Laws were broken. People committed crimes. Oh, and look at this. Conveniently this morning, a Dear Colleague letter goes out to members of the House. Oh, folks, what a coincidence. The House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence has identified an urgent matter with regard to a destabilizing foreign military capability that should be known by all congressional policymakers. Look at that. Wow. Emergency meeting, Joe. We better renew FISA and spying authority. We got some emergency information.
Yeah.
What are the chances? Trust no one. They all hate you. Do you understand? Trust no one.
Trust no one. They all hate you. Do you understand?
That's got to be the quote of the episode. Trust no one. They hate you.
Do you understand? So we'll move on from Bongino, but I did want to, because he is number 2 at the FBI, before this information was made public, this is something he was talking about. And he was very specific to say he's not going to let it go.
Yes.
So let's see if we can put 2 and 2 together here.
Why is Adam Schiff so worried? Folks, I strongly encourage you to go back and take another look today at the Russia collusion hoax. I know it's a story that's old and a lot of people want to move on. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't want to move on. We had the FBI in conjunction with the Department of Justice, officials in Congress, foreign governments, and intel people fabricate a story, invent a story that could have caused and done serious long-term harm to international relations with a nuclear-powered foe. It's kind of a big freaking deal. I'm not letting it go. And you listen to me. This is going to be very important in the coming days. I'm not letting this go. I want to find out what happened because it can never happen again. Not to a Democrat, not to a Republican, not to a Libertarian, not to any United States citizen. You do not get to alter or try to change the course of electoral politics by fabricating a story, hijacking the justice system then to give the patina of truth to a fake story. You don't get to do that. Why do I bring that up now? Because who is the ringmaster of that circus? Yes, Adam Schiff.
Old pencil neck.
Shifty Schiff.
Shifty Schiff. It's funny. I'm pretty sure that episode aired less than a week before he was announced as deputy director. Dan Bongino already knew that he was being asked to take that position. No one else knew. The public didn't know. Didn't know, but he knew. So
he said,
to me,
I'm not letting this go.
And so to me, that's saying, hey, Adam Schiff and everybody else who was in on this,
I'm putting you on notice.
I'm putting you on notice. And that's why, I don't know if you've been paying attention, Adam Schiff has been shitting his pants recently.
Yeah, I love it.
It's been hilarious.
I love his shitty pants so much.
Shifty shitty pants. Shifty shitty pants.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, so his boss is going to be Kash Patel.
Another awesome pick.
Yeah, these are two badasses. And that's kind of the theme to the show here. You know, when Schumer was outside talking about Kavanaugh, you will reap the whirlwind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No. You fuckers are going to reap the whirlwind.
For all the shit that you've been pulling.
Yep.
And honestly, it's been for more than the last 8 years.
I know.
Like, this goes way back.
Yeah.
These people have been corrupt for decades. And hey, look, I'm not just talking about Democrats. There are some swampy, squishy Republicans too. And and I know you feel the same. No love for those people either. Like I said, right now, there are two factions, the machine and everyone else. And if you're a Republican in the machine, I don't give a shit.
If you guys aren't familiar with the Sean Ryan show, check that out. And specifically, go listen to the Kash Patel interview.
It was good. It was really good.
It was well before he would even be considered to be number one at the FBI. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out, because it's obvious that he knows where the bodies are buried.
Oh, he absolutely knows where the bodies are buried.
And they tried to bury him along with them.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, payback's going to be a bitch.
On the Tucker Carlson network, there's a documentary. In one portion of the documentary, they're talking about Kash Patel, and he goes into the whole story and system of how the whole Russia collusion hoax came about and how it filtered through and all the mechanisms that they used. This guy knows.
Yeah, him and Nunez, they know everything about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They know about all the stuff that happened with Clinton.
Yep.
And they know about all that stuff. Here's Kash Patel. Well, he's sworn in, so he's already at it.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I am living the American dream. And anyone that thinks the American dream is dead, just look right here. You're talking to a first-generation Indian kid who's about to lead the law enforcement community, the greatest nation on God's green earth. That can't happen anywhere else.
First-generation Indian?
Mm-hmm.
Man, the left is not happy about Kash Patel. Why do they hate brown people, man? Why is the left so racist? No, these are the rules, suckers. We're going by your rules. You don't get to change them now. Racist! Man, the left is not happy about Kash Patel. Why do they hate brown people, man? Why is the left so racist? No, these are the rules, suckers. We're going by your rules. You don't get to change them now. Oh, hail, H-A-I-L, no. We do not get to change them now. Why is the left so racist? Why do they hate brown people? Why? Kash Patel, head of FBI. The left is like apoplectic because he is a person of color. And remember, the left thinks that they own every minority, whether it's like a sexual orientation thing or skin color or whatever. They think that by way of not being a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, that you are owned by the left. So see, they still practice modern day slavery, even if it's just, it's just they have to be content with it being ideological now. But that's the left.
They're so racist. Why don't they want a brown person?
She articulated that really well, better than I could.
Why don't they want a brown person? Because remember, I was racist when I didn't like Barack Obama's policies.
Yeah. You racist!
I was so racist when I didn't like Karine Jean-Pierre, the black lesbian press secretary, when I thought that she was the worst person to ever press secretary in the history of press secretarying. Because I was racist. That's why. It's not because she's a total dimwit.
They just can't comprehend that we would object to a person based on their merit because they are victims of cult of personality.
Yeah. Well, and they're not merit-based. They don't do anything merit-based, hence our last episode on the DEI stuff. So Cash gave a pretty good little speech. I sort of chopped it up for time's sake. Basically his acceptance speech, his first speech as FBI director.
There will be accountability within the FBI and outside of the FBI, and we will do it through rigorous constitutional oversight starting this weekend. Look, I know the media's in here, and if you have a target, that target's right here. It's not the men and women at the FBI. You've written everything you possibly can about me that's fake, malicious, slanderous, and defamatory. Keep it coming, bring it on, but leave the men and women of the FBI out of it. They deserve better. And for those of you who think that there's going to be a two-tier system of justice, not with Attorney General Bondi. There's a singular system of justice for all Americans, and there will be accountability. Our national security mission is equally as important. Anyone that wishes to do harm to our way of life and our citizens here or abroad will face the full wrath of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And if you seek to hide in any corner of this country or any corner of this planet, we will put on the world's largest manhunt and we will find you and we will decide your end state, not you. We will uphold the Constitution. We will uphold ourselves to the Constitution. The men and women at the FBI, I have your back because you have the backs of the American people. You will be held to the same high standard. Any deviation from that standard will not be tolerated at this Federal Bureau of Investigation. The men and women at the FBI who make us safe deserve better, and they are going to get it with our leadership and your support. God bless America, and God bless every one of you. I love this country.
That's Kash Patel. I can't think of a better team.
Yeah, and he even mentioned in there Pam Bondi, his boss, who is now the Attorney General. I've heard that there are some concerns with her about 2A stuff. I don't really know her background that much, but I do know that she seems pretty firm. She definitely is not going to play politics like any of the previous AGs or people in the DOJ.
I don't believe so.
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it. I won't play politics with any ongoing investigation.
So let me ask you another.
Like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer, will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question is,
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And by the way, that was old Shifty Schiff that she was engaging with there. And if you listen, like, he's just hitting talking points. I just want to make sure that you speak truth to power. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Are you fucking kidding me? That dude is such a joke. Such a joke. It's insane.
He's a lawyer. He has a law degree. He can't be stupid. So he's just a bad person.
No, he's very careful with his words. It's all intentional.
Yeah.
And it's all corrupt. Yeah, so we got Bongino, we got Cash, we got Pam Bondi, we got Tulsi. This is like the Avengers. It's like the Avengers.
Yes, I would love to see this. Oh, wait, we are going to see this movie.
Yeah.
We are going to see this movie.
Can't wait. Tulsi. Let's hear from Tulsi.
Laura, this is a clear act of political retaliation. There's no other way to put it. You laid out the sequence of events the very next day after my conversation with you on the air, warning the American people about how dangerous a Kamala Harris presidency would be. I was placed on this domestic terror watch list, which is called the Quiet Skies list under the Department of Homeland Security. The clear pain and real visceral hurt that comes from this is, as you mentioned, like many Americans, I enlisted because of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 to go after the Islamist terrorists who attacked us on that day, and to now have my own government now turn around and put me on a domestic terror watch list. It hits to the core and is the ultimate sense of betrayal. But we look at why they are doing this. It has a chilling effect. It sends a warning both to me and to anyone else who even thinks about daring to criticize our own government, which is a guaranteed protected right under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
That we will be subject to a violation of our Fourth Amendment right to privacy through this kind of surveillance. And that's the biggest stress that's been caused by this entire situation, Laura, is now forever. I will always be looking over my shoulder, wondering if and how our government in any of these different agencies is surveilling me, watching me. Are they reading my text messages? Are they listening to my phone calls?
She is now our Director of National Intelligence.
Yeah. So now, yeah, exactly. You will reap the whirlwind. It's a reckoning, okay? Everything that you did to us, everything that you've been doing, now you get it.
Welcome to the party, pal.
You had it coming.
Oh, I guess they had it coming.
We all have it coming, kid.
And if you think for 1 second that these are like made up things, that these are just political talking points, talk to the other side. They'll tell you.
But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community. We don't know what's going on. Look at the Russian hacking.
Yeah, look at Russia.
Look at Russia.
Look, Russia, the hack in Russia.
Look over here. Look over here. Look over here. Big.
We need those
Russia.
guys. I mean, how else could we try to frame Trump and his son and talk about Russia without those guys? We need those guys.
We need those guys so we can get bad FISA warrants.
Yeah, six ways to Sunday.
You better watch out, Mr. Schumer. Now Tulsi Gabbard has 6 ways from Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really not very smart of him.
No, well, like I said, they can't see beyond the 5 feet in front of their face. They can't.
Well, they're blinded now. They've been in this swampy soup of assholes and power trips for so long that they're freaking out. They're all freaking out. They're all scared, and I'm glad they're scared.
If you're wondering, like, oh, come on, they can't be that bad. Okay, explain to me how these assholes making, what's their salary, around $200K? They can work that job for 10 years and come out in the end a multimillionaire. Explain to me how there is not corruption.
Well, and that's why they're terrified of Elon Musk, because he's checking the books.
He's checking the books, absolutely.
You know.
And the reason they're afraid of Elon Musk is because Elon Musk is smarter than them, and they know it. Elon Musk knows how to connect the dots. He can draw a straight line. You cannot trap him in your corruption. Well, I'm not going to say you can't. Anybody has the potential for corruption, right? Anybody.
He took over Twitter at a tremendous cost to himself.
Yeah.
That did not benefit him. He did that to regain free speech.
Yeah, and way overvalued. He paid way more than it was worth.
Yeah, it was like $44
billion.
Yeah.
And he took over Twitter just because he was tired of the censorship that was happening on Twitter.
People telling you what you can and can't say.
What you can and can't say. And then now, after he takes over Twitter, You get all these liberals who are infected with this stupid woke mind virus that are saying, oh, well, you know, ever since you've bought the platform, it's just become a haven for sexist speech, hate speech. I don't even know what hate speech is.
Yeah, so we've got someone from the BBC funded by American tax dollars attacking Elon Musk for protecting free speech.
You know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just
curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hate.
Okay, they always do this. I'm not saying anything. You just said it.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, this clip right here is a masterclass in the Socratic method.
All right, we'll continue.
Content, and I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't use. Honestly, I
you
don't.
Can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore. Because I just don't particularly like it.
But you said
a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a second. You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying...
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet.
They should be scared of Elon.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just said it.
And keep in mind, this is a guy from the BBC. What's going on right now over the last several years in England when it comes to free speech has been horrendous.
In Europe in general.
What's
going on in Germany right now is insane.
They are serving warrants, knocking people's doors in and taking them to jail.
For memes.
They're doing the same in England. If you post what they deem hate speech, they will take you to jail. This is what they want us to become. Somehow, the British people, they're way more obsequious than we are, obviously, because we're like, nope, fuck that. But over there, oh, daddy government says we can't say this, so we won't, so we're okay with it.
I'll say this. We were close, though.
We were very close.
We did say fuck that. But I guarantee you, this is what Kamala Harris wanted for America.
This is, yes.
The same bullshit that they're doing in Germany.
Yeah.
And that's what Dark Brandon wanted too. It was obvious.
The Twitter files prove that.
Yeah. That's what they wanted. They wanted complete control.
If you doubt that, just follow Michael Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi. Those are the guys who got the Twitter files and released it. And both of these guys are center-left. They're like traditional 90s, 80s Democrats, right?
Yep.
They are not partisan hacks. They are by no means right-wing. Follow those guys and you can see all the work they did on the Twitter files. The Twitter files prove all of this that was happening, okay? And, you know, I am ecstatic about what Elon Musk is doing. And, well, I just find it interesting how he came to support Trump because he saw what was going on. There's no denying that this is a brilliant guy. If this guy is seeing this, then there's got to be something to it.
You know, the media is still hanging on. It's so rudderless. So crazy. The American people are behind Musk. Here's a little snip from ABC talking about people supporting Musk. If you're paying attention, you'll notice the sort of malaise that ABC has to put over it.
Yeah,
you know?
they have their own little spin, their own little patina that they want to put on it.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Show of hands, how many of you guys voted for Trump? All but one. Among them, Eric Davidson, who believes many government agencies and workers accomplish little.
Are you doing your job, or are you just making paper airplanes?
And you think there are a number of government employees who are flying paper airplanes?
Yeah, I'm just going to come in here and put my time in and get my pension and go out.
Bruce Wilson is the only one at the table who didn't vote for Trump.
When you hear this conversation, do you agree with them, these guys?
In some respects, I do.
So the idea of shrinking government, do you support that?
Clearly, if there's waste, there should be some shrinkage there.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I thought this was the baby's room. I'm really sorry.
I was in the pool! I was in the pool!
What hits home for the people we met in Kenosha, Trump's repeated message.
Fraud, waste, abuse, fraud, waste, abuse.
Fraud, waste, abuse, fraud, waste, abuse. Just hearing that over and over again seems to have resonated.
Yes, and that repetition is very persuasive. You know, a lot of people judge the veracity of information by how often they hear it. It's not proof, it's allegations, but that's enough for people.
In a recent Reuters Ipsos national...
Okay, it's not proof, it's allegations.
Mm-hmm.
But that's enough for people. Well, being from the media, you should know that. You should know that because you've been running psyops on the American people for
decades.
Yeah, decades.
Yeah. Repeat the talking point, repeat the talking point, repeat the talking point.
Yeah.
So Trump's just throwing your own playbook right back at you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is he used the word proof. I don't think these people are stupid. He used the word proof. He didn't use the word evidence.
Yes.
There's a huge difference between proof and evidence.
Yeah, but if my daughter walks in and she's got chocolate all over her face and there's a wrapper laying on the counter and I ask her if she had some chocolate and she shakes her head no, do I have proof or do I have evidence? Have I proved it?
No. You've got really good evidence.
I got some pretty good evidence. I mean, it might be dirt, but I bet it's chocolate.
Yeah.
Poll. 42% of Americans support Trump's push to downsize government. Still, 53% oppose it.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's
those numbers are false.
Those are false numbers.
Anyway.
Including Democrat Steve Farrell.
Are you worried that services could be cut back?
I'm really worried about that more than anything, yes.
And which services are you most worried about being cut back?
Mail, for one, Social Security services, Medicare, Medicaid, all of them.
But in this...
You notice he didn't say money for gay people in Africa and...
Transgender
operas and $2 billion for Stacey Abrams. And you notice he didn't say any of that.
Yeah. He said Social Security, Medicaid
and Postal Service.
Trump is, he hasn't mentioned Postal Service, but Trump has already said way too many times he's not touching Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
Yep.
He's already said that.
Yep. Anyway. Yeah, you'll notice he didn't say all of the shit that Elon's finding.
Converted railroad car. Many of the customers we met simply feel the president is on the right track.
He's getting rid of a lot of corruption.
Have you seen any proof of corruption?
Well, not me myself, but I can see it throughout the news on both sides.
They're generally eating up what's happening in Washington, even if proof is not on the menu.
Again, these people are not stupid. They know what they're saying. Proof. And when you just hear it being thrown out, proof, you're not analyzing every single word that they're saying, right? So when you hear someone say, oh, there's no proof, your brain can tend to just think evidence.
Yeah.
And they're doing it intentionally. So they put this patina on the end, good old ABC.
Mm-hmm. It's the last thing you hear, even if there's not proof.
Even if there's not proof.
Even if there's not proof.
Right. So they have to cover the story, but they don't like the story.
So they have to taint it.
Everybody
here thinks that this is good. This is why they're stupid.
They hate you.
Mm-hmm. They hate you. Don't support them. You fucking liberals want to know why Elon Musk, one of your heroes,
Up until 3
he makes
years
the
ago?
only electric car that anybody wants to buy. Nobody wants any of these other electric cars. He actually created innovation and made a car that is light years beyond anything that's come after it in the electric vehicle market. I mean, kind of a liberal hero, right? I mean,
4 years ago, he was.
Yeah. So you guys want to know? You guys want to know why his eyes were opened and why he turned against the Democrats and against the leftists and against the woke mind virus and all the crazy they were doing? And this is why I trust him.
I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety, and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too.
It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
It won't stop till that happens.
Yeah.
It'll just go underground. Puberty blockers are being accessed online by kids all the time through non-medical channels. So yeah, right. It's not going to stop. Yeah. Okay, so I see. So that's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like. Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress.
Join the club.
Yeah.
You people unleashed him. You unleashed him.
With all your fucking trans bullshit.
And I want to say, I would encourage all of you to actually go watch the video of that and look at his face when he's telling that. I mean, everybody's seen videos of Elon Musk, and you kind of get a feel for his personality.
Mm-hmm.
Watch that video, and you can see the absolute just devastation on his face. Like, it's like he doesn't even know how to process it. It's really sad.
It's awkward too, because you can tell it's not something that he's not even equipped to like talk about it. It's like so emotional for him.
Yeah, you can tell just by the way that he's speaking. He's not, because he's like, anyway.
Yeah, anyway, you know. Yeah.
But
that's what happens. Fuck around and find out. You guys keep pushing this bullshit. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep talking all this nonsense. Keep saying shit that makes you sound crazy. Keep doing it. You're going to keep fucking losing. America does not work that way. We are not that. Okay? So take your fucking blue hair and go somewhere. Go over to Germany where they'll arrest people if they talk bad about your blue hair.
Please go.
8 years. 8 years of weaponization. It's insane.
8 long years of weaponized government. The Russia hoax, the Ukraine hoax. One lie after another. One fraudulent impeachment after another. One hoax, one smear. Government weaponized at every level against democracy. Government weaponized at every level against the people. Democrat prosecutors, Democrat attorneys general, Democrat careers, using their power to try to sabotage the democracy of this country, to try to keep President Trump off the ballot, to try to throw President Trump in jail, to try to arrest his aides and his supporters. An authoritarian movement in this country that has at every step tried to stop the workings of our democracy. And President Trump, on a field in Pennsylvania, nearly lost his life. And a few weeks later, another assassination plot. And let me ask you this question. When the lawsuits came against President Trump, when the lawfare came against President Trump, when the weaponized law enforcement and intelligence community came against President Trump, and when the bullets came against President Trump, did he falter? Did he back down? Did he yield? Did he surrender? Did he waver? Or did he stand up tall and strong and raise his fist into the air and say three immortal words, fight, fight, fight?
God can use even the most unsuspecting, sinful person to achieve his plan. And I honestly believe that's what happened. I think that Trump surviving that was a miracle. God did have a plan, and you know, people may call that hokey or wishful thinking. I honestly believe that the foundations of this country are based in
Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, they're based in faith. They're based in God.
Yeah.
And I think we're one of the few, if not the only countries that can say that. And I think that that's why God spared Trump's life. That's what I believe. I mean, you know, I could be completely off base, but we'll find out.
That was Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. And he is, well, without a doubt, a Trump cheerleader. But he's very good at it, and he makes a lot of good points.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's no denying the iconic photo.
Yeah, that photo.
That is going to be so historical.
Yeah.
And what would you do? What would you do if you got shot? I don't know if you'd stand up.
I think most people wouldn't.
And he was like arguing with the Secret Service.
To let him up, yeah.
To let him up. That's character, that's bravery that you don't...
A lot of people don't have.
That's not political.
That's personal.
Yeah. That's why that photo, to me, means a lot. Because you can't get more authentic than that. Because no one comes within inches or centimeters of their life.
And are thinking about their next political
talking point. Nobody does that.
Nobody.
No. I think it kind of shook him a little bit, and I think he believes that that would not have happened without divine intervention.
I can't get inside the man's head, but I think that that event convinced him that he was doing the right thing.
And he had to keep going.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yep. Well, I support him, and I support Stephen Miller too, because, you know, Trump isn't the best at articulating and vocalizing everything.
Much like yours truly.
He just has a way, you know.
Yeah.
Trumpisms. I am working on my impression, but, you know, he has words. He has the best words. Let's hear some more from Stephen Miller. He's got some really great stuff from CPAC.
The lies out of our schools, the men out of women's sports, the poison out of our foods, the woke out of our military, the predators off our streets, and the illegal aliens the hell out of our country. It's happening. It is happening. Every day under President Trump, he is saying hell no to DEI. He is saying hell no to CRT. He is saying hell no to the indoctrination of our children. And is saying hell yes to the idea that America belongs to Americans. He is fighting for your families. He is fighting for your children. He is fighting for your future. He is fighting for the fundamental idea that this country belongs not to the bureaucrats, not to the radical left communists, not to our foreign enemies, not to the criminal cartels, not to the criminal aliens. This country belongs to the law-abiding, patriotic, God-fearing American citizens. The entire federal bureaucracy works for President Trump and not the other way around. He is the elected head of our government. And to all the people in the media, all the people on the radical left, all the people in the Democratic Party screaming about democracy, Donald Trump is the one who is saving democracy. Donald Trump is the one who is saving our Constitution. Donald Trump is the one who is saving America. And any federal bureaucrat who defies the lawful orders of this president will be fired.
Hell yeah. Yep.
President Trump will ensure that whether you work at the FBI, whether you work at the CIA, whether you work at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, the Department of Health and Human Services, career civil servants, also known as bureaucrats, work for the American people, and they work for the president the American people elected. They do not set their own agenda. They do not write their own rules. They do not work for themselves. They work for each and every one of you. You pay their salaries. You pay for the buildings they work in. You pay for every single thing they do. And if they are not following the laws, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, then they will find a new career.
All right, you liberal bureaucrats, you get the picture? You starting to hear it?
The power of the executive shall be vested in a president.
That's right.
That's in the Constitution.
Sit down, shut up, and do your fucking job. Otherwise, get the fuck out. We're done with your nonsense. We're done. It's over. It's over. You lost. It's done.
I don't feel sorry for you.
Nope.
Getting fired.
Nope.
Because you sit on your ass and don't do anything.
It's my fucking money that you're spending. It's my money that you're sending to
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street in Iraq or whatever.
No, that was it. Sesame Street in Iraq.
Yeah. It's done. You lost. We're cleaning house. It's the fucking reckoning. This is what you get.
So I ask you all to send a message right now to all the bureaucrats, to all the radical left commies, to the criminal aliens, the foreign gangs, the transnational terrorists, to everyone who threatens the future of this country. You think they're just going to give us our country back? You think they're just going to roll over, move out of the way, stop their scheming and their lying? Or do you think we are going to have to be on top of it every single day, focused every single day, driving forward every single day with unrelenting focus and passion? Because God gave us this country. Our founding fathers fought and died for this country. Generations of Americans have sacrificed and bled for this country. And we are not going to let the radical left, the communists, and the America haters take our country. It's not going to happen. Not now, not ever.
We will take it back.
That's what's
happening. And we don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah, I don't care if it hurts your feelings. In fact, I don't give a shit about your feelings.
No.
You know?
I don't.
Anybody that's been gaming the system, I don't care. I don't care.
Nope.
You guys run scared. You should be scared.
I'm real scared. Damn right you're scared. I can see that in your eyes. All right, man. Go ahead. Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. Listen, mister, I'm getting awful tired of your... I'm getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work. I said throw down, boy. Oh. You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed? No? I didn't think so.
I didn't think so. Tom Homan, the idea for this episode was inspired by him.
Yeah.
He gave it was like an 8-minute speech, and I cut it up and took the fluff out of it. That dude is just...
That dude's awesome. He's an absolute bulldog.
Yeah.
Like everyone uses that term bulldog, and the reason they do is because it is perfect.
Yeah.
He is a bulldog.
But guys, fuck around and find out.
I think that's what we should name this episode.
FAFO. You ever see that YouTube channel where that guy's pretending to be a scientist and he's got the chart?
Yeah.
See, if you want to find out, the amount of fuck around that you have is directly related to how much you will find out. So, Tom Homan, let's hear from him.
Let me start out by saying this. If I offend anybody today, I don't give a shit.
I like him already.
Yeah.
Don't care. The media in the back room, I'm sure I'll be reading a lot of hit pieces on me tomorrow. I don't give a shit what you think about me.
So here's the thing. He seems brutish, but actually he's very smart because
he's really smart,
as soon as you take away liberals' false accusations,
they don't have anything.
They have nothing.
That's what I was just
they
getting
crumble.
That's what I was just getting ready to say.
That's why they're like always, it's always personal attacks. It's always like, you're racist, you're a sexist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're what. If you just look at them and say,
I don't
care if you think that.
Yeah, they have no power over you.
Then what?
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah. I think that's what I like about Tom Homan, because he exudes that whole thing, like, because he knows that this is how you deal with these people.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you say about me.
I give you no respect.
So you have no power over me.
Yep, I give you no respect. Sorry, I had to jump in there.
I get asked all the time, does it bother you as a big part of this country that hates your guts? I don't care. I don't care. Because we got a job to do. You know, I wake up every day for the last 4 years pissed off because the Biden administration took the most secure border in my lifetime and unsecured it on purpose, right? I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I ever worked for took steps to secure the border. Even Clinton and Obama took steps to secure the border because they clearly understood you can't have national security without border security. They got it. Joe Biden's the first president in history of the nation who came into office and unsecured the border on purpose. So for 4 years, I wake up every day pissed off. That changed November 5th. This is how the phone call went. I picked up one. I see POTUS on my cell phone, so I know it was Trump. He says, "All right, Dom, you've been bitching about it 4 years. You want to come fix it?" And I didn't hesitate. I said, "I'll come back and I'll do it for free. I'm so pissed off. You don't have to pay me." And look, in less than a month, illegal crossings down 95%. ICE has arrested over 21,000 people in the nation. For 4 years, we had over 10.5 million illegal aliens at our border. They released nearly 8 million into the country illegally. We had a 600% increase in sex trafficking of women and children. We had a record number of known suspected terrorists and people on the terrorist watch list crossing the border. Under Trump, we had 14 in 4 years. Under Joe Biden, just shy of 400. Think about that for a moment. What Joe Biden did to our border was create the most significant public safety and national security vulnerability in this nation's history. All these bad stories about Trump, Homan, you're racist, you're a white nationalist, you're a mean person. Okay, I'll take that. Because you know what Homan's doing? I'm working for the greatest president of my lifetime, and we're going to save lives. Because when 95% less people coming across the border, how many women ain't being raped? How many Americans aren't dying from fentanyl overdoses? How many no-suspected terrorists aren't getting in the country? How many women and children aren't sex trafficked in this country when you have a border lockdown? We're saving lives.
Oh, yes.
Gotaways. Under President Biden, the gotaways, 2.2 million people crossed the border, weren't arrested because the Border Patrol was too busy making sandwiches, changing diapers, making baby formula, making hospital runs, dealing with humanitarian crisis. 2.2 million people crossed the border and weren't apprehended, weren't fingerprinted. We had about 1,800 a day in 2023. You know how many had yesterday? 48.
Pretty good so far.
Yeah. There's no justification for what Biden did with the border. There's just none.
No, not unless you're trying to import voters.
Either to import voters.
And you hate the American people enough that you're going to betray them to do it.
And this just goes back to our previous episode, corruption. Look, these people have become so corrupt. They care more about staying in power than they care about the country, than they care about you, than they care about anything. That's all they care about is power and money. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they have done what they've done to this country.
And the only way that they get money is if they maintain power and stay corrupt.
And keep the bureaucracy rolling.
Yeah. That's how their money laundering scheme works. It's insane how much power they gave to the cartels by opening the border.
Yeah.
They act like they're fucking humanitarians. No, they're not.
No, they just put billions of dollars in the cartel's pockets.
They're fucking evil. They're fucking terrible. They created a humanitarian crisis.
I got another message to the criminal cartels of Mexico. At the RNC, I said a speech. I said two things at the speech. If you're in the country illegally, you better start packing now. We're keeping that promise. The other thing I said on stage at the RNC, that President Trump is going to designate the criminal cartels of Mexico as a terrorist organization. He's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. After I said that, of course, I got numerous death threats. They've doubled the size of my security detail because all the cartels want to take Homa now. Well, I'll tell you what, come get some.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. You are now a terrorist organization. So word out to anybody that assists them, anybody that sells their drugs on the street, anybody that assists these cartels in any way, you are helping a terrorist organization, and the weight of the world's coming down.
Come get some.
Come get some. It's such a contrast from the last administration. Like all of these guys.
Bunch of fucking weasels.
It's like, yeah, all the little weasels before, the senile president, the word salad vice president that can't make a sentence, the sniveling Adam Schiff, right? It's such a contrast.
Yeah.
And now you've got these just fucking alphas just banging their chest, be like, fuck you, this shit's over.
We're going.
We're going.
We're going. Yeah. And AOC and everybody's crying.
I've read all these stories this week. Tom Homan insulted AOC. Well, look, it's not an insult if it's true. She says Homan has no game, he has nothing on me. Look, you can claim you're educating people according to her constitutional rights. I think she's a long ways away from being a constitutional scholar myself. Bottom line is, we know what the game is. You can claim you're educating people to their rights, but we know what the end game is. Try to tell people how to invade law enforcement. And we're talking about people who enter the country illegally, which is a crime, committed a violent act against a U.S. citizen, were ordered removed by a judge. We got members of Congress saying it's okay to educate them how to invade law enforcement. Look, we're not making this shit up. We're enforcing the laws enacted by Congress, and we're not going to apologize for it. Not under this administration.
We're enforcing the laws enacted by Congress, and we're not going to apologize for it.
And I don't know if you've seen this. I think this just came out today or maybe late yesterday. AOC sent an inquiry, I think, to the Department of Justice to see if she was under investigation. Yeah, that happened.
She's a nothing.
Yeah.
She's so dim-witted. I can't imagine that they would even waste their time, but she's not operating the Underground Railroad in New York.
She's not, but at the same time, she's so smug and arrogant.
I could see her doing stupid stuff.
It's almost, yeah. I almost feel like she deserves it.
Yeah.
At the very least, she should be censured. At the very least.
Yeah, so I was kind of inspired by Homan's temperament for this episode. This was actually the quote that inspired me, where I thought, yeah, it's time to take the gloves off.
I read a story last night, the police commissioner of Boston. You said you doubled down on not helping the law enforcement officers of ICE. I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me.
So run, you cur! Run! Tell all the other curs the law's coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
I looked at the numbers this morning. I stopped counting at 9. 9 child rapists that were in jail in Massachusetts. But rather than honoring an ICE detainer, released them back into the street. You're not a police commissioner. Take that badge off your chest, put it in the desk drawer, because you became a politician. You forgot what it's like to be a cop. You got it. President Trump, God bless you. I'm proud to be back, and I'm not leaving until we fix this shit.
I'm not leaving till we fix this shit.
He's so pissed off. I just love it. I love it. Fuck around and find out.
FAFO.
This is the reckoning. This is a reckoning, y'all.
Speaking of FAFO, fuck around and find out, there's this little actor / comedian that's been fucking around for the last few years. He found out something today.
Yeah, he did. Daddy's home.
Daddy is home.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President.
Okay, he says you have to come to Ukraine to find out what our problems are.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
You've had problems bringing people into your military, and do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
The fucking nerve of this guy.
Yeah.
We've given him almost $500 billion, taxpayer dollars.
And he has led his people to mass casualty. They're at the point where they are so short on men that they're pulling in guys our age and older to serve, and women to serve. Look, let's give him the best benefit of the doubt. He loves his country and he doesn't want to see it taken over by Russia. If you love your country so much, are you willing to sacrifice all of your men? Or do you love it enough to where you can make a concession and say, I'm tired of my people dying?
Or how about just show up at the White House with some fucking humility?
Or that.
You fucking asshole. You've taken almost $500 billion from us, and there is no accountability about where any of the money has gone. You took it from the former president, who was fucking senile, and half of his corruption is based out of your country.
Which is the reason why you're getting the money.
Biden's quid pro quo is from this dude's country. And he shows up with a sweatshirt on, and he wants to litigate this in front of the American media. But guess what? Daddy's home.
And by the way, they have found that Zelensky has been sending some of our weapons to Mexico.
No shit.
No shit. It's on a Tucker Carlson podcast. It was a February 10th episode with Colonel Daniel Davis. Ukrainian military is selling American weapon systems on the black market, including to drug cartels. Because there is no accountability. Zelensky knows that there was no accountability. Yeah, he's
mistaken. He's mistaken. He thinks he has some sort of power here.
He thinks he has leverage, but he doesn't. He had leverage on Biden. That's how he got what he got. He knows Biden's corruption in Ukraine and all the money that Biden was milking out of that system.
Yep. And probably then some. Probably other government officials as well. Sorry, buddy. Daddy's home. Time to put your big boy pants on.
Respect you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment, and you men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
if
you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on over there.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, it is. It's very good for the American people to see the absolute balls that this guy has. He's under the impression we're just going to give him whatever he wants.
Well, and he's also under the impression that the American media has the power.
We are the media now.
Yeah.
We are the media now. The regular people are the media now.
This is not the same administration that you were dealing with that was giving you money and supplies hand over fist with no accountability.
He can do whatever he wants because Putin bad. Look, I'm not defending Putin. I'm not an apologist.
I just don't care.
But I don't care.
I don't fucking give a shit. This guy's a fucking idiot. He's a dumbass. I can't believe what I'm hearing today. After we gave him nearly $500 billion in treasure and weapons, just given to him with no accountability, and the dude has the nerve to show up. And Trump's right, too. JD's right.
The thing that I really loved about this particular clip was seeing Trump and Vance on the exact same page saying, listen, fuckface.
Yep.
Show some appreciation.
Yeah. You're in our fucking house.
You're in our house. You're taking our money.
And we're the only reason your house even exists.
We're the only reason you're still there. You're going to listen to us. We're going to dictate terms. We're not going to be all one-sided, but understand we have the leverage here. We have the power. And that's what I loved the most about it, was seeing Trump and Vance on the exact same page.
Yes, because they both communicate in very different ways.
And I posted this on our Truth Social. There was an article in Breitbart called Democrats, Never Trumpers, Inflated Zelensky's Arrogance Before Oval. And there's a picture, I'll let you take a look at it, Andy, of Zelensky when he came and addressed our Congress. And right behind him are Pelosi and Kamala Harris holding up a Ukrainian flag. No wonder this guy thinks he can get whatever he wants. He has the goods on Biden. I'm just going to read what I wrote on Truth Social. And no wonder why Zelensky felt he could demand what he wanted from Donald Trump. Not surprising, it's these two women willing to sacrifice as many men as they deem necessary because they have never faced any accountability.
And nor has he.
Nor has he. Follow us on Truth Social.
Yeah. Talk about greed and corruption. And no one ever talks about the tie. Sort of strange that a lot of the money that Hunter Biden's business and Burisma, and then also the fact that Biden's quid pro quo was to fire
Gokin.
Yes.
The prosecutor who was looking into Burisma, which is the company that his son was on the board of. It goes back to what we said. They always accuse you of what they're doing. They impeached Trump for a quid pro quo on a telephone call with Zelensky, when in reality it was Trump asking about the quid pro quo that Biden had demanded
when he was vice president.
Saying, fire this prosecutor or I'm not giving you the $1 billion.
And that's when his influence peddling was raging. And that's also when his son was on the board of Burisma with absolutely zero experience. To this day, no one can explain why he was on that board.
Nope. I can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No proof. But again, my child has chocolate on her face and there's a candy wrapper on the floor. What do you think happened? You fucking idiots.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question from Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry, here.
It'll be a tough deal to make.
Yeah, so he's coming in, making demands, and telling this sob story. The bottom line is he's a corrupt fucking dumbass that just walked into the Oval Office, tried to litigate his case, which, not surprising that he thought that that would be an effective method based off of all the damn Ukraine flags and the do you support Ukraine nonsense that came from the last administration.
Yeah.
But again, daddy's home. fuck around and find out.
You just got spanked.
Yeah. I think what Trump is saying is, look, dude, you're trying to use our power and our treasure in order to advantage yourself so that you can try to push Putin around. It's like the little guy with the big guy standing behind him that goes and starts a fight and then runs away.
Yeah.
And Trump's like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want in this fight.
You know,
I don't have any part in this fight.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you that this guy's beating up on you.
The only reason that I'm talking to you about this is for mineral rights. That way we have a legitimate American interest
in defending you.
Otherwise, go fuck yourself. Because you've already told us that you're not going to pay us back what was supposed to be a loan.
Mm-hmm. And this is Trump's whole play. If you want to fuck around and find out, then go plead your case to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Let them help you.
Yeah. I love that they're doing it in front of the media.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you know, I don't know. It's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing that the American people get to see what a fucking dumbass this guy is, that we've been funneling money to with no explanation. Just, do you support Ukraine? Putin is bad. Putin is bad. I don't care if Putin's bad.
Yeah, I really don't either.
I don't care. There are a lot of bad people in a lot of bad places in the world. If Europe doesn't want to spend their treasure on it,
then why should I?
Why the fuck are they spending our defense budget for them? And, you know, if you look into it, you also see, this is a whole another episode, but there's a reason why Putin is in the position he's in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know,
just a quick overlay. The regions that he's taken are typically Russian sympathetic and Russian speaking. And there was actually a vote in that region that they wanted to be part of Russia. But again, that's a whole other episode. Look, the previous administration, it was all just an act to funnel money, to keep the war machine going. Because every politician in Washington, D.C. knows that since Obama's been in, Ukraine has been the piggy bank where they launder their money.
Yes.
That's why they're funneling the money to Ukraine.
Yep.
Now, they can make all the excuses and give all the reasons that they want. Oh, well, the money actually does come back to here because they're buying our weapon systems, blah, 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 blah. What they care about is that the corrupt government in Ukraine stays in power so they keep their piggy bank open.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Absolutely.
That's all they care about.
And hopefully Hegseth and Cash and everybody that's being put in place is going to unearth all of that stuff.
They will.
That's why everybody's freaking out, because the gig is up.
Yep.
Is it gig or jig?
Jig.
Why is that?
A jig is a dance, right?
Yeah.
The jig is up. Maybe there's no more dancing. I don't know.
It's like Footloose over here, guys.
Yeah, Footloose.
No more dancing, okay? The jig is up.
But I like Kevin Bacon. Everything that I've seen so far leaves me very cautiously optimistic about the administration, although I think they did have their first kind of flub with the Epstein stuff. It was yesterday. But, you know, you're going to have a few slip-ups here and there. But overall, so far I'm very impressed, because it seems to me that they're actually doing what they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
And what that is, they're going to fight for the American people. They're going to put the American people first, finally, for once. They're going to de-weaponize the government against its own people.
That's the big thing for me. Look, I have a lot of friends that are liberals, and I don't think any of them understand all the weaponization. It's against me and people like me.
Mm-hmm.
That whole Dark Brandon speech, he was talking about me. So if you are my friend, what the fuck are you thinking? What would make you side with these fucking people? Why are you giving thumbs up and likes to people that are race baiting on Facebook? Why are you being fucking yard sign liberals? What makes you think that makes you virtuous? What makes you think that makes you intelligent? Or, I guess, progressive? Like you're somehow enlightened? And the rest of us are a bunch of knuckle draggers? And most of the people that hold that opinion, if I was to tell you what I really think, if I was to be honest with you in a conversation, if I was to take off the fucking gloves, you could not fucking handle yourself. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. You want to know why I'm pissed off and why when I'm listening to these people and they're pissed off and I'm like, hell yeah, fuck around and find out? It's because all of that is in the culture. You fucking were complicit. That's the reason why all this stuff is happening. It's over. You can either get on the right side of history or you're going to be left behind.
I think a lot of these people are going to be left behind because they're still under the impression, the 1960s Democrat, when racism was an actual widespread thing. We're here to help these people against the injustice. It's like we've said before, it's always been there, but the corruption has gotten into and gotten worse and festered in the Democrat Party. If you're not speaking out against this, then you're part of the problem. And that's what we're trying to do. We both have had enough. What I have to say to every conservative or Republican out there or center-right person out there or every MAGA person out there that's listening, now is not the time to chastise your friends if they come to you and say, hey, I think you were right. Or they do an about face.
Absolutely
now is not the time to chastise them. Now is the time to say, thank you for waking up.
Yeah.
Come join the fight.
I agree.
Because that's the only way that you're going to change the culture. Through that, by accepting these people when they truly admit that they've seen the truth. The other way is through family and friends.
I agree. But to everyone else that wants to continue to paint a caricature of what Biden says a conservative is, recognize it's me. It's not a caricature. It's a real person. It's me. It's Isaiah. It's your friends. It's people that you've known forever. And we're not stupid. We just have our eyes open. You're the one that's not seeing this clearly. Don't paint me as some caricature and then fight against that caricature. If you want to fight, if you want to talk, come talk to me, not some straw man that you've created out of nothing. Some fucking Saturday Night Live skit with Tom Hanks pretending to be a racist Trump supporter.
It shows in the way that they think about groups of people. The reason why they see us as a caricature is because they see everyone else as a caricature. This is why they think every black person should vote the same. Pervert men posing as women just to go into the women's bathroom are the same as people who are legitimately delusional about their gender, because they see everyone as a caricature. There's a reason it's called a caricature, because it's an over-exaggeration and oversimplification of a person. And the way you just phrased it was perfect. Don't come at me with a straw man, because that's all you're coming at us with is straw men. We're real people.
And we've been devalued and dismissed
for years.
For years.
And at this moment in time, whether you want to admit it or not, we are the ones that actually have our eyes open and understand what's happening. You are right now a useful idiot for a machine that not only hates us, me and Andy, they actually hate you too. They don't care about you. You are a useful idiot.
If you don't understand by now, I have no idea what I could possibly say.
Yeah. If you don't know by now, you're never going to get it. So just accept it.
This is the reckoning, and everyone deserves it. If you're sad, I don't care. If you're scared, I'm glad, because that means that you are on the wrong side of this. And this is not about revenge.
Sanity is coming back. Reality is coming back. And a whole chunk of America that has been disregarded.
Their voices are finally being heard.
Their voices are finally being heard. And there's what seems to be some political figures who are actually doing what the majority of voters voted for. So, you want to keep fucking around? You're going to find out.
This is what happens. You might want to take a look out that window, liberals. You see? You see what happens?
You see what happens?
You might want to watch out that front window, Larry. Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. You see what happens? You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens? This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass, Larry. This is what happens, Larry. You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass? This is what happens. You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? This is what happens, Larry. This is what happens.
Thanks again, everybody, for all your support. You can find us on whichever podcast platform you prefer. We're everywhere. You can also find us on YouTube and Rumble at Return of the Logos, True Social at Return of the Logos, and X at Returning Logos. Help us get our following going. We look forward to the next episode with you guys.
Thanks, you guys.